The NASCAR Xfinity Series race concludes from Circuit of the Americas, and we see a usual suspect pick up the victory here at Circuit of the Americas. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Circuit of the Americas, the Pit Boss 250. We're going to go ahead and talk about everything from the race today. So, for the green flag drop in today's race, a bunch of drivers would have to go to the rear of the field. This included Brett Moffitt, Landon Castle, Brandon Jones, Will Rogers, Ryan Sieg, Josh Blicky, JJ Lee, and Brandon Brown would all have to start at the rear of the field. So on the start of the race, you have Ty Gibbs leading from the inside and Ross Chastain on the outside, and Ty Gibbs is able to get the race lead. Meanwhile, we would see also Patrick Gallagher, because he basically tried to jump the start, he got a restart violation penalty. Meanwhile, we would see a multi-car wreck, I think, going into turn number 14 between Josh Berry, Miguel Paludo, and Sage Karam. Sage Karam got spun out by a car, and unfortunately, he dropped back pretty far. This would drop them back, and they all get damaged in the wreck, unfortunately, but they were able to continue on. And then meanwhile, battling for the lead, we would see Ross Chastain get around for the race lead and take the lead. Meanwhile, we see Stephen Parsons basically spin off of turn number 6, but kept going. And then Justin Allgaier was able, also a lap later, spun into turn number 12 after contact with Noah Gragson. Meanwhile, the battle started happening up front between Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, and AJ Allmendinger. Yeah, Ty Gibbs and Ross Chastain battling really hard going into turn number 1, and Ty Gibbs was able to take the race lead. Then Ross Chastain got around Ty Gibbs for the race lead, is able to keep the lead, and then going into turn number 11 or 12, they both overdrive the corner, and AJ Allmendinger is able to take advantage of it, is able to take the race lead, and was able to pull away, but Ty Gibbs tried to get back toward him. They were battling really, really hard for the race lead, but eventually AJ was able to pull away after a few laps. Then pit stops started happening, or some strategy happened. We saw Bubba Wallace, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, Landon Castle, Judd Burton come down road for strategy, and Sheldon Creed also had to come down road with the left front tire that was flat. And then the next lap, we saw Ty Gibbs, Cole Custer, Ross Chastain decide to come down pit road, meaning that AJ Allmendinger was able to come off the corner and win stage 1 because he stayed out. He would win stage 1 here at COTA. Meanwhile, we actually all see the caution come out for Bailey Curry, who stopped in turn number 19 after dropping fluid on the track. This will bring out, I believe, the first official caution of the race. And then we saw leaders come down pit road who had not pitted during that first stage. They would come down pit road and all take 4 tires. And then on the restart, Ty Gibbs leading on the inside with Cole Custer on the outside. And Ty Gibbs able to get the race lead. And then we saw Ross Chastain actually get the race lead. Then Sam Mayer on the front stretch. She actually missed the gear off front stretch turn 20 and led up to that point. Then AJ Allmendinger got around Ty Gibbs for up to 6th position. Something that started happening was Ty Gibbs started having some valve stem problems after valve stem got knocked off, and his tires started getting really, really loose, meaning that he would have to come down pit road due to that left front tire, which is really, really unfortunate because Ty Gibbs probably had a really good chance of winning this race, but he would come down pit road where the valve stem issues happening. Then we stayed green for a little bit with, I believe, Ross Chastain leading this race. And Patrick Gallagher was spin into turn number 9, but he was able to keep going. And then we saw some pit stops started happening, and most of the leaders actually decided to come down pit road. Guys like AJ Allmendinger, Bubba Wallace, Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Daniel Hemrick, Alex Levay, among those drivers, they all started coming down pit road. Meanwhile, multiple drivers started reporting some major issues. Bubba Wallace was having a very strong run. He started reporting that the second gear was basically going out. You need to have second gear to be very, very competitive. And the second gear, unfortunately, started going off for Bubba Wallace. Then we saw a couple leaders coming down pit road, and then Bubba, unfortunately, after running 13th, he basically would have transmission issues, but able to at least stay in the race, but unfortunately was taken out of contention of the race. Meanwhile, I believe at this time, Cole Custer actually would get a speeding penalty as well. Cole Custer, one of the fastest cars in this race, he would get a speeding penalty, and this kind of would hurt his chances of contending for the victory. But coming off the corner in this stage, Sam Mayer would come off the corner and win stage 2 here at Circuit of the Americas. Then we see the top 5 come down pit road. Sam Mayer, Jay Buford, Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, and Riley Hurts would all come down pit road. Because of that, Ross Chastain was able to get back up front. Then on the restart, Ross Chastain leading from the inside and AJ Allmendinger on the outside. And AJ Allmendinger was able to get the race lead from Ross Chastain and took the race lead. Then Josh Berry was spin going into turn number 20. Also, Josh Blicky will get involved in that as well. And the caution would come out for debris in turn number 9. We go back racing in lap 36 with AJ Allmendinger leading from the inside, with Ross second on the outside. We would see Alex Levay overdrive the corner going in, I believe, in turn number 10, basically overdrive from 6. Then we saw Sheldon Creed basically spun off of some contact from, I don't remember exactly who he has in contact, and he would spin and be able to keep going out. Spin, unfortunately, had to come down pit road. Then we saw Brandon Jones get some damage and basically had the right rear damage after contact with Stephen Parsons. Then we're around 5 or 6 laps to go. We would see the second caution, I think the last caution of this race for Ty, basically for debris. Then all the couple guys would come down the road. This included Ty Gibbs, Daniel Hemrick, Anthony Alfredo. I think Bubba was also part of those guys that came down pit road, but Ty Gibbs had to basically did not come out with new tires, had to put on scuffs on there. And then on the final restart of this race, which was about 5 laps to go, you had AJ Allmendinger leading from the inside and Ross Chastain on the outside. AJ gets a really, really good jump going up into the hill and going into turn number 1. And we see Ross Chastain, who's running second, who probably has the best chance to go against AJ Allmendinger for the victory. He gets turned by AJ Allmendinger's teammate Landon Castle. Landon Castle overdrives the corner into Ross Chastain, and Ross Chastain goes from contending for the victory to falling near the tail end of the line. Then we see more issues happen. Let me get back to the situation real quick. Basically, that situation was on Landon Castle. He completely overdrove the corner. That was on Landon Castle. I don't know what Landon Castle was doing right there. Landon had a good finish going, too. He was running in the top 5. Should have just backed off a little bit and waited to go and make the pass, but it is what it is. Jumping to the net later, we saw a couple more drivers get some issues and some penalties. On lap 42, with around 4 or 5 laps to go, Jet Byrne would get penalized for cutting the course at turn number 4 and would have to do a pass-through. Then Jeremy Clements, also a lap later, he would get a penalty for this and would cut the corner in turn number 6 while running in 4th position. So the 2 guys running 3rd and 4th at a time, they would have to go down to pit road. And as it came to the white flag of this race, you had AJ Allmendinger, who had about a 2.5 or 3 second lead over Austin Hill. AJ puts together a very, very strong performance here at Circuit Americas. And coming off the corner, AJ Allmendinger holds on and puts on a dominating clinic and wins here at Circuit of the Americas. Talking about AJ Allmendinger, he clearly had the best car in this race. He was very, very fast in this race. That car was extremely fast. It get through traffic very, very well, and overall deserves a victory. He was one of the guys you were definitely going to have to beat in this race and clearly had the best car. So congratulations, AJ Allmendinger, on picking up his first victory of the year. Considering COG really has not had a ton of speed this year throughout the year, it's really good to see that AJ was able to get up there and win the race. So big win for COG Racing. Hopefully this is a good momentum booster, and maybe this will help AJ in tomorrow's Cup Series race, since of course he'll be running in the Cup Series race as well as Circuit of the Americas. So now, let's jump into the results of today's race. So AJ Allmendinger picks up the victory. Austin Hill finished second. Very strong run for Austin Hill. His second straight second place finish. I think Austin Hill is going to win another race here at some point. He's been running really, really consistent and really, really well. Ran top 5 most of the race. Deserves a top 10. Gets second place finish. Great run from Austin Hill. Cole Custer, who had to come back from that speeding penalty, bounces back to a really strong 3rd place finish. I think Cole Custer honestly could have given AJ a run for his money had he basically had a caution come out late. But Cole Custer still got a very solid top 5 finish. Great run for him. He finishes in 3rd. Noah Gragson finishes 4th. Noah Gragson was having engine issues and nausea and still somehow gets a top 5 finish. Noah Gragson, great run for him at the end of the day. He needed this run. He's not historically been the greatest at road course throughout his career. So great top 5 for him and good for championship confidence as well. He finishes in 4th. Sam Mayer finishes 5th. How about that? Finally, a race that goes extremely well for Sam Mayer. Gets top 5 finish. Won a stage in this race too, which is really great to see. Gets a great top 5 finish. He needed this run. Good from him. Maya Sider finished 6th. Finally, something goes good for Maya Sider. Maya Sider has had a rough year, to say the least. Good to see that Jordan Anderson Racing finally gets a top 10 here, and they get a 6th place finish. Good run for Maya Sider. Brett Moth finishes 7th. Never really heard him mentioned throughout the race, but gets a really solid top 10 and quiet top 10 run. Needs that good run and gets 7th place finish. Jay Beaver finishes 8th. Jay Beaver gets his first top 10 of the season. His best finish up this point had been 23rd. I believe it's also the best career finish for the DJ or the whatever the team is. He was able to finish 8th, the BGM, whatever the team's called. Good to see Jay Beaver finish in 8th. 9th for Miguel Paludo. Miguel Paludo was involved in a crash on the first lap of the race and still gets top 10. How about that? We're going to see him twice more this year. Good run for Miguel Paludo. He finishes 9th. Sheldon Creed finishes 10th. Very solid top 10 run for Sheldon Creed. Needs a little better, but a solid top 10 run. Got to keep those consistent finishes up and running. Ryan Seed finishes 11th. Very solid run from Ryan Seed in 11th place. Good run from him at the end of the day. Parker Kligerman finishes 12th. Parker Kligerman should be full-time. He was really, really good today. Ran top 10, top 15 in an Emerling Gase car. Keep this in mind, this team has not had speed and gets a 12th place finish. Why is this guy not full-time and a good ride? Why is he not full-time? It's literally ridiculous and blasphemous and criminal that he's not full-time in a ride. Gets a great top 15, gonna help that Emily Gase team when it comes to points. Maybe they call him up for some more races this year to try to help them out. Gets a good positions in the owner's points. Good run from him. He finishes in 12th. Anthony Alfredo finishes 13th with that solid, awesome looking pit boss girl skiing. Good run from him in 13th place. Preston Bars finishes in the top 15 and 14th. Solid run for Preston Bars. I think he was a little bit better, but good run for 14th regardless. Ty Gibbs bounced back to 15th place. Ty Gibbs, after his issues, solid top 15 run at day. I mean, he got to bounce back as much as he can, and he was able to bounce back a little bit. Gets top 15 finish. Was probably going to be a fast car at the end of the day, but had those issues that cost him an opportunity. Sage Karam finishes in 16th. Sage Karam finished in the top 20. He had issues early in the race, but bounced back to a solid top 20. Ross Hussein, after getting taken out and spun out late, finishes 17th. What could have been? Could have been really cool to see D-Gem winning, regardless of 17th place for Ross Hussein. Saw a run at the end of the, not a good run day, but probably should have been contending for the victory, to be honest. Brandon Jones finishes 18th. Parker Chase finishes in 19th. 20th place finisher Brandon Brown. Thought Brandon Brown was a bit more of a contender today, but gets top 20. Seth Parks finishes 21st after his issues. Patrick Gallagher finishes in 22nd. 23rd place finished Jeff Byrne after his issues late. Jeremy Clemens finishes 24th. Daniel Hammer finished 25th. I don't know what happened to Daniel Hammer. He really was not great to begin with today and still finished 25th in this race. I don't know if he got his penalty or not, but he finished in 25th. Really unfortunate. Riley Hurst finishes 26th. Riley Hurst was nowhere to be found in this race. He absolutely struggled. He was no pace, no speed in this race. That's something he's going to have to work on, considering he's been good at road courses in the past. I expect him to be a little bit better, but a 26th place finish is really not a good run for Riley Hurst. Josh Berry finishes 27th. Josh Berry had damage early. He was up there, but unfortunately, things cost him. Bubba Wallace finishes 28th. Bubba Wallace should have finished higher, but those transmission issues killed him. He probably would have gotten a top 5 or contended for the victory in this race today, or probably at least top 3 or top 4. But what this is for him going into tomorrow is a good confidence booster, because he should be really, really confident. He had a really good car today. It's a shame what happened to transmission, but a 20th place finish, bounced back a little bit, and still got a top 30 regardless. JJ Lee finishes in 29th. Ryan Vargas finishes in 30th. Landon Cass, after his problems, he finishes in 31st. Scott Hecker finishes in 32nd. He was nowhere to be found today. I expected more from him. Justin Allgaier finishes in 33rd. I don't know what happened to Allgaier. He was up front. Must have had an issue late. Joe Graf Jr. finishes 34th. Josh Blakey finishes 35th. Alex Bay finishes in 36th. Will Rodgers finishes 37th. And Bailey Curry finishes in 38th place. I believe that Bailey Curry is the only driver that also failed to finish race. So that's a pretty cool stat. That only one car, I think, failed to finish the race. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the race overall as a whole and give you my score of today's race. The first half of this race, I will say, was really, really good. Especially that first stage. The battle between the top 4 was absolutely incredible. And throughout the race as well, I will say, there was absolutely incredible racing. This race is definitely better than the Truck Series throughout. There were definitely points where it got a little bit strung out a little bit, but it was not as bad as a Truck Series race when it got strung out. You had great racing throughout the field. I think COTA definitely deserves to be on the NASCAR schedule. I know there's some talk that COTA should not be on the schedule, but COTA absolutely deserves to be on the schedule. And overall, I'm going to give today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race from COTA a solid 8.5 out of 10. Thought it was a really good race. It wasn't a perfect race by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a race that wasn't as clownish as the Truck Series race was, and it's good to see the guy who deserves to win the race absolutely get the victory, not like Kyle Busch, who probably should have won the Truck Series this earlier. We're not going to talk about that. So, anyway, that is today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Circuit of the Americas. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on Xfinity 5 when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List goes below for that. And comment your thoughts on today's race in below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate AJ Allmendinger on picking up the victory here at Circuit of the Americas. Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to have 2 videos on the channel. We're going to have the starting lineup for the Cup Series race at Circuit of the Americas to Echo Park, Texas Grand Prix. And then after the Cup Series race concludes, we're going to talk about the race. And then I think Monday, I'm going to have an update video on the future of this channel coming out on Monday. So you should definitely check that out. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.